In the past couple months, several people have reached out to me with the interest of owning an RX-7. They asked me all sort of questions. What I should pay for a RX-7? What should I look for when I purchase an RX-7 or when I'm about to buy an RX-7? Is it hard to maintain? Well, if you fall in this category, this is the video to watch. Lately, a lot of people have reached out to me with the interest of owning a Rory engine or a RX-7. And one of the common questions is it hard to maintain? How expensive it is? And how much I spend in my car? Well, it got me curious. And I started building an Excel sheet. And yesterday, I spent most of the afternoon trying to find everything that I could since 2018 when I purchased the car. I actually thought that was 2017, but no, it's actually January 2018. So on the Excel sheet, I broke it down in different categories to try to help me first, try to remember all the transactions that I've done, everything that I fixed in my car, but also to try to keep this video organized. And I guess the first question that you should ask to yourself is your budget. Like, how much are you willing to pay for the RX-7? Because that will depend on how much you're gonna spend. What are the goals? Do you want to order RX-7 to keep it stock? Which I'm pretty sure 90% of you just want the RX-7 because of the sound, because of the flames, because of the brap. I'm gonna talk about based on my experience and based on the condition that my car was when I purchased it back in 2018. Why I mentioned 2018 again? Well, prices back in the day are not the same are now. And just for context, long story short, my RX-7 was an unfinished project with a lot of shortcuts, with a lot of electrical gremlins, with a lot of eBay specials. I drove this car from UK to Germany with a fuel leak next to a rear battery, and the starter worked whatever it wanted. Like, I had to push start this car 3 times in 12 hours. Also, most of the car in the rear part was gutted. Didn't have any plastic interiors. The whole engine bay was scratched up. I didn't have pop-ups. Even if I wanted to put pop-up, it would be too expensive. Well, this is the part that I was talking about.
Holy mother of God!
To just find the motors, try to get the whole assembly, try to get the electronics to work, because there was a lot of wire cut, wires were touching metal. In addition, of the whole front end is fiberglass, and they're not original parts. So a fiberglass piece already needs some love to make sure that all the fitment is on point. Imagine all the replicas and all the random apps, which I'm pretty sure my whole front end is, because all the gaps in the front is bad. So I was willing to pay a lot less, right? But I needed to invest, or not invest, spend a lot more money to try to get it to a level, versus if you had the budget to buy a $35,000, $40,000 RX-7 that hasn't been touched. Probably the only thing that you will have to invest is vacuum lines, brake pads, brake rotors, recharge the AC, or fix the tachometer, the gauges. That's a common issue on these cars. In addition, probably the fuel filter had to be replaced, because no one is going to replace it due to the location where it is. So that's why I utilize these as the start point to try to help you understand which path you're trying to go. So let's go to my fancy Excel sheet. All right, and these are the categories that I decided to be able to make it easier. Interior, well, everybody knows that RX-7 interior sucks and it's really hard to find, and it's really expensive if you are able to find it. Actually, if you don't believe me, go watch Rad Potential's YouTube channel, Eric. He will remind you how expensive RX-7's FDs are compared with RX-8. He's making, actually he has 2 projects. I'm not gonna spoil it, but just go watch his YouTube video and you will see what I'm saying. The other category: body, engine bay, fuel system, suspension and wheels, engine, turbo kit, electronics, cooling system, ignition system, drivetrain, sound system, AC system, AM fittings, and brake system. Why did I pick this? Well, again, this is basically based in my experience, but the interiors, most of the stuff that I have here, even if your RX-7 has it, there's a high probability that it's either cracked, broken, there's no tabs, and either you use epoxy to try to fix it, or if it's unfixable, then you either, I mean, some of the stuff here you can find it in Mazda, but there's most of the stuff that either you had to find, you had to get it from AI Concepts. Drake's is another good one that I purchased part from him, or you just decide to go carbon and get it, fix it that way. Which some of the stuff that is here, that was the excuse. It was either broken, cracked, or whatever, and then instead of going on the OEM way, I decided to go carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Tailgate struts, in my case, strong plastic covers. That will be based on the goal. So if your goal is a racetrack and you don't care about plastic covers and you want to put a gut at how my car was, it is what it is. You just get like a rolling chassis. And right now, rolling chassis are probably 20 grand in a good condition. They're not hit, they're not crashed. So just keep that in mind. If you're interested in putting it back to stock or to make it look right, then you have to find the plastic covers, you have to find the pillars, rear beams, or rear seats, whatever your option or whatever you want to find. Or there's a LRB aluminum covers that instead of using the rear beams, you can go that route, and I've seen it powder coat them, and they look nice. And then there's a high probability that the mat lip is broken. As an RX-7 FD owner, they probably land the elbow on it and it cracked. Stuff that you probably don't need, yeah, I mean, seats. Mine were Corvue, I think is how you pronounce it. I really don't know how to pronounce it, but they were bad. They were all messed up, and yeah, I decided to go Brown Racing. Which, if you go and check most RX-7, you're either looking for Spirit R seats, Recaro, which they're like $10,000-$12,000, or if you want to go, you know, Bright, Sparko, all brands like that, right? And this is why I say that this is a budget build. And people don't believe it.
Are you serious?
Right? But in this case, Brown seats, most people say, oh, that's Chinese crap. I won't put them on my car. And I mean, if you compare here, Brown seats, that's something that falls in that category, which is still costed a little bit, right? But compared with Brights or brands that, Recaro brands or stuff like that are on the trend, and now everybody wants carbon fiber seats and shit like that. $1,000 is not as bad. Carbon fiber, you technically don't need it. Again, you can just go to and get some parts OEM. Bents, they're high probability that they're gonna be cracked. I recognize that there's some stuff that basically, I mean, shift and e-brake boot, but technically you don't need it, but I wanted to make it look good. I mean, all the leather in my car was either tear or it was not in good condition. When I said about steering wheel cover, is the steering wheel column cover, the plastic one. The car, mine had like a fiberglass one with a gauge, but after I went Haltech, I removed all the extra gauges, either on the dash or on the steering wheel. But my example lands in $7,200 just in interior. Body, again, if the car is untouched, you probably don't even have to worry about that. But let's be honest, most people get a 1994 and they want 1999 spec stuff. Spoiler or Mazda speed spoiler, the front bumper so you can put the parking lights. And same thing, probably I don't need carbon fiber stuff. Here on the spoiler, I mentioned it's cracked because yeah, it was color white. The bases were color white. It had the dual blade carbon fiber, but I still needed to fix it, needed to sand it down, needed to paint it. So budget build again. If you try to find a 99 spec with a dual blade carbon fiber spoiler, you're gonna pay a shit ton of more money. Stuff that you don't need from here, well, carbon fiber stuff, like I mentioned, and the taillights and RGB bumper lights. Like, yeah, I recognize that you don't need that, but it's still, if you remove those, right? Door handle, definitely, that's a common issue, but this is how much I pay. Engine bay. The reason why I decided to work on the engine bay was because my engine bay was all scratched up. It has scratches everywhere. It has random drills, holes, you name it. And this car being a right-hand drive, all that heat from the turbo, it just cooked my legs. So the reason why I stopped the car was to put AC. And it's a long story, but you can watch the videos and you will know what happened. But I decided to pull the engine and painted the engine bay. Everything in the engine bay was done by me, sanded down, cover holes, painted, clear. So you were to pay a shop, probably you won't spend $2,100, and that's including the hardware, which several people mentioned on my post that, oh, it's a budget build, but you have titanium bolts. Well, the hardware that I first purchased, I think it was for Himni or something like that, it was almost $100, and it was only for the hardware for, what was it? I think it was engine related stuff. So yeah, you have an option, but the kit that I purchased from Himni was $100, and if you add this amount, you almost close to 100, but it's titanium. And again, this is based on opinion and my sample, right? I had it on my brain. There was a theme that I wanted to do, and I wanted to add a little bit of titanium, and I think I accomplished what I wanted, and it looks great. And I didn't spend a lot. Most of the stuff that I purchased, fittings, titanium bolts, or stuff like that is from Amazon. AC compressor, because I did the RX-8 compressor conversion. Amazon, like you can, I actually, in the link down below, you can see everything that I purchased, all the parts, all the tools, all the hardware is, Amazon. That's why I keep saying it's a budget build versus if you go and you see all the cars, fittings from Amazon, they tend to leak. I'm not gonna buy that crap. And I mean, they probably right, but I never had an issue with the fittings that I purchased from there. Stuff that you don't need, well, ABS delete kit, you probably don't need it. Radium stuff, well, and that was another thing, that was another comment. People saying, that's not a budget build if you have radium stuff. Well, I mean, if you go single, which my car was single already, I probably was gonna spend a lot more to try to put it back stock. And it had aftermarket fuel rails. It's just, I didn't like how they look. They look pink or purple, whatever combination the guy had prior me. So it's either that or I just go and buy full function engineering or radium. I think those are the only ones available. Fuel system. This basically, again, stuff that you probably don't need, right? Fuel filter bracket and the fuel filter in line that I got. I just relocated my fuel filter just because of the location and how pain in the butt is to get to. And now I grabbed the one that is a canister, it looks like a oil filter. And I just replaced that, put it back, accessible, and thanks for JP3 Motorsport. There's a lot of JP3 Motorsport parts on my car. I just like the quality and yeah, how approachable they are. I have questions. Yeah, even the AC kit is from JP3 Motorsport, which you probably gonna see it on the AC system category. $2,100 for fuel system. And I haven't finished because I want to go, now that I spend money on the Haltech, Nexus R3, UC10, turbulence intake manifold, DC power alternator, I'm just gonna continue and finish it.
Let's go.
For fuel system, the stuff that I need is the fuel hanger radium stuff. I think you can fit 2 leaf pumps and one, I don't know. It's expensive, but I mean, it is what it is. That probably pushed me to $3,000 because I think it's like $900. Plus the 2 pumps, I already have a Hellcat pump. Something that I realized here, I'm missing the fuel pressure regulator. So at, I don't know, $90 or some stuff like that, I don't remember, but you get the picture. Wheels, and this is something that I did just because the wheels that were on the car were really, really bad. I tried to paint them and it didn't work out. So budget build. Like a lot of people will say, oh, that's replica. Yeah, these are the wheels that are in the car. I plan to replace them now that I went full throttle and got all the Haltex and turbulence goodie. Wheels are gonna get replaced. So let me know in the comments what, based on my car, the color, and I don't know how it look, which wheels will look better. But yeah, at some point, these are gonna go. But again, it's just to show you, right, budget build. I didn't, not yet, but I didn't spend $3,500 on the wheels. So everything that you see here on the $61,000, almost $62,000 budget bill, right? Fortune Auto coilovers, that was a Black Friday special budget bill. Most of the stuff, ID injectors, the secondary were new, but the primary were used. The turbo Borg Warner was used, budget bill. Engine, $14,625, and I'm pretty sure there's stuff missing there. I did the build, not a shop, budget build. First rebuild on an RX-7 by myself, right? No fancy shop, no taking the car to a shop, leaving it there, pay a deposit in advance, pays the whole money, or paid the whole money, and then a year passed, 2 year passed, you don't know anything about the car, you send emails, all those horror stories that we see on Facebook constantly, none of that. Did it myself, separated in different phases to try to have the car running all the time, all the upgrade that I've done, except the engine bay stuff. Again, watch my videos, why I got disappointed, and it kept my car without running 2 years. But yeah, everything here I think is needed, and I'm including the rebuild, all that good stuff. However, that's 14 grand or almost 15 grand without adding the labor cost. That, again, that's just me. So I can't imagine, I don't know. I mean, I purchased a Cosmo engine, which I think it pushed this a little bit up. I don't know if I included there. I hope I did. And I think I purchased the engine for $5,000, and then there was a lot of drama. Apparently it was brand new and it wasn't, so I ended up buying new housings or whatever stuff. But watch my videos, you'll see. So I probably would have spent a little bit less. Oh yeah, it's there, Cosmo engine. So I probably could have spent less. However, like, you buy a new engine, most of the time, especially if you're gonna go single, you purchase a new engine and you rebuild it. You don't leave it like that. So turbo kit, almost $10,000. You can see here why I spent that much. I think the biggest thing here is the greedy V mount. You probably can get something cheaper, but my intercooler setup was all messed up and the radiator, so I was just, F that. Electronics, here I want to put out that I went with the electronic and ride wire harness first. So this is kind of redundant, and yeah, I spend more money but after, I realized that electronic, there was no support anymore, and it was an old computer. I just, again, decided to just do it once, and that's why I went with the Nexus R3. In addition I wanted to remove relays and stuff like that, and the Nexus R3 is a PDM too. So that's based on opinion. Also, the engine harness here is, yeah, it bumped the price really up. Cooling system, basically common mods, RX-8, which I will say, again, if you don't have the RX-7 stock, and even based on opinions, but RX-8 cooling fan upgrade is amazing. Run more efficient, and temperatures, I never had issue with the front mount intercooler, and this time temperatures are hitting like 180, 190 and stay there. Same with the RX-8 start conversion, that should be like a default. Oil coolers, here I added it as well, and it was in purpose. So I went with the Mishimoto oil coolers and old thermostat, but when I realized that my car had a spun bearing and it was running like that, and I removed all the oil from the oil pan, and there was a lot of copper. I didn't want to run the risk to use the same oil coolers. Probably could have washed them, pressure wash, whatever is needed to clean them. I didn't want to do that. And at some point I just decided, all right, let's just get the fancy stuff, and I got the smart coolers from Saggy Bomb, 3,000, but it's up to you. Smart coils, if you're not pushing a lot of power, stock ignition coils are amazing. If you push power, then you definitely need the smart coils, or 1IGA, I think they're called. Drivetrain, this car had a damaged transmission. I replaced like a bearing. Actually, I didn't put that bearing there. That's a lot, like 80 bucks more. And I pulled the transmission down and all that. But after replacing that, I think it was the input shaft bearing. It was still making like a growling noise. Anyway, everything that I've done in the car, go watch my video. Subscribe, by the way. And then go watch my video. You can see everything that I've done to the car. And you probably can identify stuff that I didn't even include here. But I ended up replacing the whole transmission. However, I found a cheap transmission in actually Baltimore. And it came with clutch and pressure plate and clutch. Yeah, plus transmission, and it was $500. Right now, FD transmissions are like $1,100. Stuff that you probably don't need, well, JP3 short shifter, you definitely, at that price, you don't need, but it's amazing. It's an amazing short shifter. Again, JP3 Motorsport parts are amazing. And shifter dust boost, and I think I didn't include it here. I think from Mazda RX, I think, or Atkins, I got the shifter rebuild kit at some point as well. Sound system, well, some people say, oh, you don't need sound system in RX-7 because you just want to hear the braps, and I agree with that. But I like my cars with sound system, and I haven't finished. But my car didn't have a radio also. It was just a hole there with a bunch of wires. And that's why I decided to get the radio. I replaced all 4 speakers, and then the double ding kick. Yeah, at some point, and this adapter you need it if you want to replace the front speakers and you want to go 6.5 inches. Amazon, again, kickers, Amazon, budget bill. I kept saying it, budget bill, compared with everything else that you see online. And I haven't finished. At some point, I'll probably want to build, I mean, I got the rear beams, but I want to make it like a subwoofer enclosure. AC system, if the car is low mileage, you probably don't need this. You only need to find the leak and recharge the system. My car didn't have compressor, didn't have anything, no lines. So I spent cheaper at the beginning, but ended up paying a lot more. So I went RX-8 conversion and JP3 Motorsport with everything. And actually, I got the condenser there, but I forgot to put the condenser. I don't even remember, but the condenser, I got it from Amazon as well. AM fittings, there's a lot more that I'm not adding there. But for fuel system, it just, you go aftermarket fuel rails, that's just how it is. So braided lines and fittings. And this is Chinese version of the fittings in Amazon. So there's nothing fancy lines and stuff like that you see online. And brakes system, the only thing that I've done is sanding down, painting the calipers and pads, because the ones that came with the car were all rusted. I haven't done anything fancy in the area, but if you can see, give me a total of almost 62 grand. That's the grand total, and I'm missing stuff. I'm not trying to brag of how much I spend. I'm just basically, I was curious. I wanted to know how much I spent on my car. I thought that I was close to 20 grand. I was wrong. Did I pay all that? No. There was a lot of stuff that I sold. The old turbo manifold, like there were stuff that people still were interested. Downpipe. I sold a lot of stuff that other people wanted, including the seats. Like whatever you need, you put it on the Facebook Marketplace, and someone is going to buy it, right? So wheels and stuff like that. So did I pay all that amount? No. I sold the electronic, I sold the harness, and basically the UC10, I almost got it for free because of all the designs that I'd be able to sell. So regardless, the purpose of the video is showing you how expensive it is to own an RX-7. If you buy rolling shell, you better have deep pockets, because finding the parts is hard, and when you find them, you have to pay a lot of money. This is not including maintenance. Oil maintenance is crucial on rotary engines. And premix, which this is the one that I use every time that you put gas. Right now, I definitely need to do premix because I removed the oil metering pump, but I was doing it anyway, even though the oil metering pump was working well. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below if you feel like this video is worth it, if at least it's gonna give you like an idea or where to start. A lot of people see RX-7 at 40 grand, 50 grand, and they start laughing, even if it's a right-hand drive. Listen, at the end of the day, if your pockets, if your car, whatever you want to do, just go for it and never let people decide for you. I had a dream car, I had a template. This is what I wanted to build. Everything has been done in my garage. So far, so good, and the feeling is great. So if you like the video and you find it helpful, subscribe, press like, comment. It helps the channel tremendously. And if you have any questions, reach me out on the social media account, Tony West DIY. Thank you for watching. Until next one.